Hey, welcome to the channel again. Next upgrade for the 2022 CVO is steel blue, is new handlebars. I want to keep this look, but I can't deal with these stock bars. I mean, they're okay. They don't drive me nuts, but I'm putting on a pair of 12-inch KST Punishers. They're a little bit different. Let's see how hard it is. I did the KST Spearheads on my Road Glide, and I love those bars. Let's see how, I don't even know how these look yet. I haven't taken it out of the bag. So we're gonna take that out and try to put it on here, and let's undo that fairing. Don't want to do that, but I have to. So let's roll the intro. Alright, I'm going to be smart with this bike. I took chances with the Road Glide. Now I put a cover on the tank, and I put a cover on the fender. I learned from my mistakes. So let's get moving here. Okay, tools that we're going to need for this are Torx 27, Torx 25, a 9/16 and a 1/2-inch socket. I normally used to use my this thing, the Torx bit, but I don't want to strip anything. I want to take it slower, do it by hand, do it right. Again, I learned on my Road Glide, I made some mistakes. Not making those mistakes this time. So let's get started. I'm also going to put a Apple AirTag. Hide it somewhere on this bike. I'm not telling you where, because you're the one that's going to steal it. Just a little added security, so if this bike does get stolen, gets trailered, put it into a back of a trailer or whatever, I'll be able to track it. And if it's local, having one of these kind of helps. So anyway, let's start by taking the outer shell off. So I'm going to start with the Torx 27. And you got 4 bolts here. 1, 2, and then 2 on the other side. Okay, I lied. I'm using it. But I'm not going to tighten it with these, okay? I'm going to use it to get them off. Plus my Torx wrenches are too long, so this is a little easier. I use it to get it off. I'm not going to tighten with it. That's a promise. I'm not going to video taking all this off. I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing step by step. There are a million videos out there on how to take this shell off. So I'm just going to tell you what I'm about to do it. No need for you to sit there and watch it. Okay? Okay, I highly recommend that you get one of these magnetic trays. And you keep everything from the fairing, the shell, all that. You keep everything in one spot so you don't lose it. And if you're doing smaller projects, you could have different metal trays. It works for me. Now we're going to remove for the cap, there's 2 T25s here. We're going to remove those and then keep going. Okay, moving on to the windshield. T27s. We're going to pop all 3 of those out. Just make sure you can either leave the middle one in for a little bit. But when you release that one, the outer shell will move forward. And then you just got to unplug the headlight. So I'll show you how that's done. Actually, I'll video this part. Back to my power. Just going to loosen a little bit first because I don't want to strip this in any way. Not that I've ever stripped a windshield bolt. Not that I've ever had to replace a whole speaker pod assembly because of that. No, not me. want to lose the washers. Stay. See, I also train fairings not to move. Stay. Okay, I should now slide forward, and I can disconnect the headlight. Can't really get in there. Basically, it's just a. I don't want to take off one-handed here. It's just one little clip that holds the headlight on. It doesn't want to come out. Bitch. Oops. Come on. This is so new, it doesn't want to come out. I'm so glad I covered those fenders. So anyway, you have the little clip that goes right here. Just take that clip off and do what you want with this. I suggest putting it in a place where you don't step on it. Not that I've ever done that. Wow, this is pretty. Come take a look at this. The inside of my fairing, my road glide, is a mess. I have so much crap in there with amps and extra stuff. This is pristine. Woohoo! It's pretty. This is where the jumper goes for the Apple CarPlay, but they changed the shape for the 2022, so you can't use that yet until they come out with a new one. And I'm waiting for that because it's a pain in the ass to use Apple CarPlay with the Cena. Okay, let's move on. Okay, final steps. Well, moving on. You have it's a half-inch acorn, I believe. You gotta take that off. Underneath that is another one down here. So you got two on both sides. Below that is a 9/16 nut, I believe, that will, when we release that, it'll allow the fairing to move forward so we can move on to the bars. That's the next step. So what I did was I put it on my floor jack, just to keep it just barely touching the floor so I can move this around if I need to, very easily. So I got the two half-inch acorns off. This slides off and there's your 9/16. Whoops. And there's your 9/16. Okay, both 9/16 are off on both sides. Just to get this out of the way, it's just a little clip here. And then unplug, just get this out of the way. You don't want to scratch it up. Okay, with all that done, I just want to pop this off now. Put this to the side. And now the fairing will move forward. We want to unplug the power, the throttle by wire, and add the power for the heated grips and the switch harness. So, okay. This is the you have two red, two white, two black. You want to disconnect this. It's got a little pinhole you got to press. We'll come back to that. And you got your left and right hand side wiring harnesses. It's one white wire and then 4 wires on the left. So these two got to come out, and then this one's got to come out, and then this has got to be unplugged. Okay, they look like disconnected. Again, you have the two that go right up here, one that goes here. This is the heated grips on this side, so that's those. They suggest moving the clutch cable, but I don't think I'm going to. I'm gonna try it without it. So what I'm gonna do now is release the fairing and bend it back to me. Bending's probably the wrong word. Let's say flex it. Oops, I should have taken that off first. New Clockwork shield. Don't want that scratched yet. Okay, so just want to get access to these. Just want to pop it up and bend it back. Okay. I'm going to lower the jack a little bit. It's still a little off the ground. This bent back, we have access to the bars. We're going to have to release these eventually and play around with it. So let's see how we do that. Okay, we have to take off these perch clamps, 1 and 2. These are T27. I'm going to pop these off, protect it. Now this is where everybody on YouTube goes out and buys a bottle of Crown Royal, even if they don't drink, just so they can get the bag to put this in. I don't have a Crown Royal. I don't drink Crown Royal, so I don't have a bag. I'm going to find something else and just wrap it to protect with a little a cloth and some paper, painter's tape. Even though I protected my tank, I still just want to protect it. So I'm going to remove those two real quick, and then there are some zip ties that we're going to have to cut around the outside here. Actually, no, we don't even have to cut any. My road glider with zip ties. Got one here, I guess. I don't know. So then we're going to be able to pull the wires out, and then once that's done, we could go to the riser and pop this out, and the bars will come right out. These I would recommend using a hand tool on. When you start using those power tools and they miss a little bit, you're gonna tear up the screw, and it's gonna look like shit. So use a hand tool if you can on this. You're just gonna loosen these, all 4 of these, and we'll be done with that one. Okay, now that those are off, I'm gonna start pulling these wires through. Okay. If any of them are giving you a problem, you can lift this up a little bit, because you don't want to rip any of these connections. So if they're not coming out, you might have to either manipulate it a little bit better, or I got one that's sticking a little bit. It's kind of hard to do with my camera. Damn it. Let's try to do it like this. I have to play with it on both sides to get it out, which is what I just did. Come on. So I just did there. I lifted it up to get it out. So if it's cinched in there, just lift it. Okay, I believe that's everything. There it goes. Okay, that's everything. Okay, all my wires are out. My wiring harnesses, the throttle by wire, and the power for the heated grips, which I'll probably never use, being in Florida. They're all out. Okay, now we turn our attention to the riser. 1/4 inch Allen head. I'm going to pop these 4 out. This is one of the reasons why you protect the tank. If you've never done this before, when you pull that last one out, the bars are going to be released. So expect that on that last nut, if you don't protect your tank, at least catch it and slowly guide it down. But I would always protect the tank if I were you. Lesson learned from a previous encounter. So now that that's off, these will pop right off. Just take the top plate off of this. And should be pretty easy to grab. Oh, I still have that one zip tie I got to do. Once I do the zip tie, it's off. That's what it looks like with it off. This is off. Still have some more work to do, so let's get working. All right. You have 2 zip ties, one here and one here. It holds the clutch and brake lines a little tighter. What we're gonna do is cut those, give us a little bit of more slack. So you go with the increase in the bar size. And then we're going to move, I'll show you that bar next. Okay, we got to move this clutch cable up to this side. So to do that, we got to move the fairing, the outer shell. Okay, so this is the clutch. It's sitting in this right here. So we got to pop this out of here. So we have some room. And it's not gonna let me do it so easily. Okay, that gives us a lot of room right now. This has just got to run up here. That's all we got to do. Okay, we just want to disconnect this. It goes from the throttle by wire to the heated grips. So I just want to pop that off. Now we need to take these out. But before we do that, we're going to loosen these up. Let me turn that around. Take those off. This has to come off first. So let's just pop it up and push it out. Oh, come on. There it goes. Feels like it's going to break. And I'm surprised it didn't with my luck. So I just want to pop that out first. Okay, then we want to take these out with T25s, I believe. I happen to have a T25 right here. Let's see. Yep, it's going to be a T25. Okay, when you pop off these, don't back these all the way out. You just want to back them out enough that you can remove it from the switch housing, but not lose the screws. They're still in there. You can back them out, but don't do that. Get yourself another one of these magnetic trays. Start putting your stuff in there separately, because I kind of like to separate parts of the job. Okay, before I remove this, I'm going to remove the throttle by wire, the heating element. I got to remove the wire here. Jesus Christ. Okay, take out that knot, but this, just pry it off with a tiny little screwdriver. There's a plug in here. Plug in here, it's got to come out. So let me get rid of the needle nose. It's gonna be hard to get this on camera, but I'm gonna try. There it goes, came right out. Nice, even easier. Okay. Then when you take apart this grip, the switch housing. This is just, again, using your little screwdriver. Just want to release it from here. That's all there is to it. This pops off. This pops off. And zip, zip, it is done. Okay, what you want to do is kind of work it. As you pull this, you're pushing that one into the bar and then through. It's a very hard process. Try to video as much as I can of it. Out. Of course the video died, the battery died just as I was getting it out. But basically this is what you're dealing with here. I'm going to pop it out and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Heated grips. This has got to come out also the same exact method. We're just going to push it through. Okay, that one's done. Pull that all the way through. Okay. Anybody want an old bar? Brand new old bar? Okay, I tried for the last 2 hours, maybe 3, getting the wires through the bars, the KST bars. the way these are shaped, these Pathfinders, it's almost impossible to get this through. I've tried everything. Wires, wire flume, all kinds of everything you can imagine. So I came up with an idea. I'll take some solder wire, tie a little nut around the end. Right? You let gravity work for me. I put it in, I kept moving the bar around, banging the bar. I got it through. I was then able to string through this from an old install. I attach it to my wires. Now, if you don't have this, you could just probably use fishing line. Might work really well. That's my next guess. Or the wire, and just attach it through, and I'm gonna try to pull it through now. Let's see if it works. I think this is actually working. This is unbelievable. How can nobody think of this yet? I might be a millionaire. All right, I got it through. Wow. I think almost. Yep, I got it through. Okay. I was about to give up and send these back and buy Dominator bars, but I got it through. The install continues. All right, I had to put my glasses on. I couldn't see the wiring. All right, after a battle of a few hours, I will never do this again. I'm gonna get pre-wired bars next time. The only real way around this is you have to de-pin some of the plugs from the Harley wiring harness. That's a bitch. I never did it before. I guess this is an easier way to do it. I had a hard time. I ended up breaking the pin, so I rewired it. And I'll show you what I did. So I just basically rewired the extension. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's for the for the heated grips. If they fail, they fail. I don't need them in Florida. But anyway, I got all the wiring through, got all the extensions on. They came with the 10-inch extensions. Basically, the only way to really do this is what I did. Well, excuse this mess here, but I took some fishing line and put basically a weight, a sinker at the end of it. I took a nut and I ran it through the bars. I just kept moving the bar to let the weight of the sinker come through so I could lead it out. I then tied some string to the end of it and I pulled the string through. I then tied the string to the other end of the wiring harness that had to come through. You got to push and pull at the same time. It's a bitch. End up getting it all in. I mean, I really wrestled this for hours. And I put these back on. Make sure when you put these back on, you wire the wires around a groove. You'll see what I'm talking about when you open it up. If you don't, you got to pinch them. I'm about to try to put it back on a bike now. Let's see how it goes. Okay, first time having a street glide. I'm not happy with the way the shell comes off. It's so different than the road glide. So apparently when I pulled it up and got it out, I didn't have it lined up properly. What a bitch getting it back on. Scratched it up a little bit too, of course, so I don't have to replace a piece. Anyway, I got it back through. I fed the wires through. It was no problem. You reconnect the 4 wires. One here for the power, 2 here that we did earlier, and then 1 here. Can't even find it. Anyway, they're all 4 are connected. There's no problem with the slack. What you want to do is tighten these 2 and leave these 2 loose so you can adjust do that so you can adjust the slack on this. I mean the fitting. And I'll put the backs back on these, cover on this. This you just want to use a needle nose to put back in. Then I'm gonna put the clamps back on and test it all out. Okay, I'm all done with it. If you've never taken apart a street glide and never put on bars, I would probably go to somebody else. I mean, I put on bars on my Road Glide. I had problems because I was learning. But I tell you what, a street glide is a pain in the ass to get that whole fairing off and up and out of place, getting back into place. I don't know, maybe I need more practice. Whatever it is, that's tough in itself. The bars were a bitch. You have to de-pin the plugs, and then you have to run the wires through. It's really hard. I mean, I did it. It took me 2 days to do it. And I've done a lot of upgrades. I'm no expert, but I did not think it was going to be this hard. So I did video putting back the fairing. I pretty much took, I mean, you can see other videos on how to do that. That's no different. But the bars came out excellent. A couple scuffs along the way. I'm going to show you the bars real quick. Okay, I'm going to show you how the bars came out. These are the 12-inch KST Punisher. I like them. They're good. They're good. Not as good as my KST Spearheads, but these are very good. I like them. So check them out. So I look from the side. Check it out from the front. Okay, they don't really come up that high, which is good. But one thing that you're gonna have to do, see the mirrors? No, you can't, can you? They're under there. So when you're riding, you either gotta put your head up and try to look over or try to peek under. It's not gonna work. I got pulled over. I'll tell you in a minute. I'll come back to that. So there's an adapter that KST makes that will move the mirror down lower. So your choices are either go with that or you can put new mirrors up above. Quick story time. I had to go over to Harley because I stripped one of the bolts, taking all those apart. I'm on the highway, I-95, heading to Harley. And I'm not even driving fast. I'm going 83. And I'll tell you why I know it was 83. And I was just in the HOV lane. And I couldn't really change lanes or drive fast because I don't have mirrors. So apparently, FHP tried to pull me over. And he finally pulls me over. And he kept his siren on, really annoying. And I guess he saw my gun on my hip. So he pulls me over and he goes, I have my hand down. He's like, keep your hand on the handlebar. Do you have a concealed weapons permit? I said, I'm a sergeant with the sheriff's office. He goes, well, I'm a sergeant with FHP. You have identification? So I show him my identification. And he still gives me shit. Well, the reason why I pulled you over is because you were doing 83, and it's only 65. It's really a 70, most parts of 95. So you were doing 83 and passing people. I wasn't passing anybody. Everybody's going 83. I'm not going to argue with the guy. He's got the power to give me a ticket. So he's giving me some shit, and he finally lightened up. And I wasn't going to argue with him. I would never do that to somebody else. If I saw as another cop and I pull him over, I'm a cop. Hey, you got ID? No problem. Have a nice day. And leave. This guy gave me shit doing 83, passing people. People are going to call because you got a gun on your side. I'm like, all right, I'm a cop. But anyway, that was that. So it's 83 miles per hour. That's not even fast. Luckily, I didn't have mirrors, because if I had my mirrors, I would have been, in and out of traffic like I usually drive. So that was my short story. Getting back to this, it's a bitch to put on if you've never done it. Hopefully this video will help you. Ask me questions if you're not sure. I did it. I would never do it again. Next time I'm going to buy pre-wired bars. It's just a bitch. The only difference to that is the KST Spearheads are bigger bars, and they're 3 pieces, so you can actually run the wires through easily. But this is not. This is 1 piece, and it's hard. So that's it. Hope the video helps. More to come. Till then, hit the like and subscribe, and ride safe.